All right, let's go. It feels like my entire net worth is teetering on the brink of complete collapse. But while this recent market shakeout has me angrier than the cashier at Starbucks when I press that 0% tip button, and my biggest priority right now is just finding a place to go where I won't die, I can offer you this simple advice.
Fuck crypto. You don't need the anxiety.
However, if you are someone who likes to look on the bright side, at least you're not having to deal with
creepy shits. Creepy shits. Creepy shits.
So I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving. If you're anything like me, you spent most of the day preparing that perfect turkey just right. My role in the kitchen is basically to preheat the oven. I like to watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in the morning, then I settle in for a long day of watching sports. That is, until I'm forced to react to my idiot liberal cousin telling everyone that AI is stealing all the drinking water at the table. Then my drunk aunt breaks out into one of her rants.
Don't you ever let anybody take your power from you.
And of course, the worst part, when you're trying to fit all the leftovers into the fridge. So you know we got a lot to talk about in this video, from what you most likely look like sliding into her DMs, to the new exhibit at the Presidential Wax Museum, and from a Thanksgiving ham that just won't calm down, to Bob Ross giving you instructions on how to stuff a turkey.
Gotta pack it real good and tight, fill every happy little space, all the way up inside, just like I stuffed your mom last night.
This is the channel that will always take on the tough questions, like do we need to organize an intervention for the elf on the shelf? How hard should you pronounce the F in fuck Joe Biden? What's the biggest reason most men don't like movies with subtitles? Is it possible for someone to win Christmas? How did the Kamala Harris campaign go about vetting Tim Walz? What does it look like when an Antifa member catches a fascist? Is it time to tell Kevin that maybe mommy isn't coming back? And most importantly of all,
should transgenders be allowed to serve in the U.S. military?
I personally do not like that Donald Trump is trying to outlaw transgenders from the military because, first of all, transgenders would make some of the best soldiers. First reason, they're mean as hell. And who wants a nice soldier? You want a guy or girl or them to be mean. Second reason, trans people love doing mass shootings. So this kind of fits, right? You need somebody that's willing to go and blast a bunch of people with a gun. Trans people seem to love to do that. I think they've done 7 of the last 8 mass shootings.
All right, let's talk some financial news. And the big news today comes to us from the chairman of the SEC, Paul Atkins.
We have enough authority to drive forward. I'm looking forward to having an innovation exemption that we've been talking about now. We'll be able to get that out in a month or so is what I'm hoping. We were impeded a bit by the government shutdown. Obviously, we couldn't work on things during that time, but we're on track and we will be able to forge forward with the crypto area and make sure that we are able to embrace this new area of innovation that for too long the United States basically has just pushed back against.
And this is pretty interesting. The Fed just pumped $13.5 billion into the US banking system through overnight repos. This is the second largest liquidity injection ever, just behind COVID. Here's Brad with some of the issues behind the JP Morgan stablecoin.
Well, let me start by saying I think it's great for the blockchain and crypto industry to have players like JPM leaning in. Thumbs up. Yep. That's great. That's the only nice thing I'm going to say about this. I got asked this last week. I was speaking at a Morgan Stanley conference, and somebody asked me, you know, there was this headline, set of headlines about, you know, about the JPM coin. Right. And this guy was from Morgan Stanley who was interviewing me. I said, so is Morgan Stanley going to use the JPM coin? And he's like, well, probably not, you know. And so, well, is Citi going to use the JPM coin? Is B of A going to use the JPM coin? Is PNC? And the answer is no. And so does that mean we're all going to have these different coins? And does that mean like we're back to where we are, where there's lack of interoperability? So like, what? I don't get it.
From Ripple, the Monetary Authority of Singapore has approved an expanded scope of payment activities for our major payment institution license, enabling us to deliver end-to-end fully licensed payment services to our customers in the region. And some big news here for our friends in the UK. Breaking, UK law now officially recognizes digital assets. The UK Property Digital Asset Bill takes effect on December 2nd, recognizing crypto tokens, stablecoins, and NFTs as personal property. This clarifies ownership, strengthens theft and fraud recovery, and investor protections, and supports the UK's push to lead in regulated digital asset innovation. And look, after living through multiple bull runs and crashes, I've learned the hard way that the people who survive aren't the ones chasing every pump. It's the ones who build a real foundation. And that's why I've been using Nomy. It's the infrastructure that lets me stay confident during pullbacks and stack bigger gains when the market runs. And I do want to thank them for sponsoring this video. My approach is simple: protection, reliable capital, and proper hedging. First, staking for my long-term positions. These are the coins I actually believe in, and Nomy's lending system has been giving me around 70 to 120% APY. Second, launch pool, where I build stablecoins. Their 6 to 8 month contracts have historically delivered around 7 to 10x in gains, which I use to expand my portfolio. And third, margin trading. I choose the leverage, and their analysts help me optimize performance, backed by a $7 billion insurance reserve and almost 7 years of proven stability. Plus, the team is always available. Swaps, insights, adjustments, everything gets handled fast and professionally. So if you want to stop panicking during dips and start positioning for the real rallies, I'll leave links below to check out Nomy and do your own research. All right, let's take a look at some of the other top headlines, and maybe it's just me, but I think Scotty B is getting a lot funnier now that he's been hanging out more with DJT.
Told a friend of mine the other day, I said, you know, if Donald Trump invented a cure for cancer, the Democrats would say, and the mainstream media would say, yeah, but it causes dandruff.
According to numerous reports, over 400 Minnesota Department of Human Services employees have accused Governor Tim Walz of ignoring widespread Somali community fraud warnings and retaliating against whistleblowers.
According to a new bombshell report from the New York Times, Somalian migrants in Minnesota have defrauded nearly $1 billion in taxpayer-funded benefits under Democrat Governor Walz's leadership.
In that same post, you mentioned Tim Walz, and you call him what many Americans do find, and if it's a word, retarded. Do you stand by that claim of calling Tim Walz retarded?
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with him, absolutely.
Look, Donald Trump insulting me is a badge of honor for me, but I think we all know, as both as an educator for a couple decades and as a parent, using that term is just so damaging. It's hurtful.
Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person?
Michelle Obama goes on another rant.
People want to control women. The first thing they do is go after our beauty.
Yes, the way we look.
The way we look. And that's true across the board, across the political aisle. Women feeling like they have to show up in this one Barbie doll kind of image to afford being attacked. This happens to young actresses, young women on social media. It is the habit of the culture of the world to put women in their place by attacking.
If that's true, then why did she release this new song?
My name Big Mac, and my ball swing like a horse, feel the force.
Candace Owen says, I received information last night that put the final pieces together for me. I now can say with full confidence that I believe Charlie Kirk was betrayed by the leadership of Turning Point USA and some of the very people who eulogized him on stage. Yes, I will be naming names and providing evidence for my claims.
Had some time to think things through and have changed my mind on certain topics. For one, I am now certain that Charlie Kirk had actually passed away from natural causes. Also, can I just say, I love the French, love them, French fries. Charlie loved French fries too.
That at some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay because the money we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous that you're not going to have income tax to pay.
According to reports, many Somalis are getting fed up with the West, saying they will leave and go home. All I can say is,
Get the fuck out!
And this is pretty wild. Michael and Susan Dell of Dell Computers are donating $6.25 billion to fund Trump accounts for 25 million US kids. The Dells have committed to fund these accounts with $250 for children who are 10 or under. The pledge funds will cover 25 million children aged 10 or under in zip codes with a median income of $155,000 or less. An update on who will be the next chair of the Federal Reserve.
Still got one interview left, so I don't think it would be prudent to give any hints. And I think that there's a very good chance that the president will make an announcement before Christmas. But it's his prerogative whether it's before the Christmas holidays in the New Year's. But things are moving along very well.
In college football, Lane Kiffin decides to leave his job at Ole Miss.
I'm leaving for LSU because I am a dirty, nasty hoe.
And this is pretty wild. Doritos has launched their Stranger Things Black Garlic Dip, targeting those super fans who also want to see Stranger Things in the toilet. So I'll be watching, and I'll keep you updated with any new information. All I'm saying is that they wouldn't hang the sign if it wasn't an issue. One thing to remember, as you're decorating the Christmas tree this year, if you're gonna do something, do it right, and make sure no one can question you. And if you run into this girl at the gym, you may want to lock her up right away.
Can I take a picture of your shirt?
Yeah, of course.
Wow. I just want to show everyone what a fucking pussy you are. Have a great one.